Howdy, folks.
What's going on?
Oh, we finally made it in here. We've had bows and people and all sorts of stuff going on. We tried to get on here earlier, and then I told TJ, I was like, well, just skip it tonight. We can't get everybody in the shop. He's like, we got to do it for them. We got to do it. And I was like, okay, we're going to do it. Let me get my stuff pulled up. TJ's going to get his stuff pulled up.
Let's see. I already got a bunch of them on there. What's up, Eric, Leon, Brad McAbee, Grover,
Yeah.
old Muddy Duck,
The Muddy Duck.
Dean.
Let's see. Alright. How's everybody doing? We have changed our plan up a little bit. We got caught up with a couple customers and a bow that we were fixing for somebody, so we started a lot later than we wanted to. So we made us sit here and chat with you for a little while.
Yeah.
We're about to take a. I'm about ready for some dinner.
Dinner and a bed.
Yeah. That Eric, that heat will get you.
Yeah, it will.
That heat will get you. Let's see here. But yeah, we'll sit and chat. We got a wristling to give away. This one has got the fancy green barbed wire woven into it. So let's do between 1 and 20 this time. Pick a number between 1 and 20, and here in about 20-30 minutes we'll give it away. But it's pretty neat. I don't know if you can see it on there. There's a delay on here, so when I do something. Hello from Nebraska. John and Leon, I think y'all both picked 13.
Boy, that'd be a hard one because they both got in there at the same time.
I know it was like, boop, boop. I think John, on my thing, John picked it first, barely. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Muddy Ducks. But yeah, we've we got bows, more. I'm almost to the point of being worried about how many bows we're gonna have in about a month, because usually mid-August, and our season starts September 15th here. Mid-August to mid-September is our absolute busiest time, and usually it actually extends to about October 1st. But there's so many bows stacking up that we came Sunday night, and we stayed Sunday till 3 in the morning. And I guess it actually been Monday, and I knocked out 10 bows, and then I guess I need to do it again. But
yeah,
it's something else. We all the running around, and yesterday we had a huge crowd come in at one time, and it kind of slowed us down on getting stuff fixed. Which, I mean, that's fine. There's nothing. That's what we are here for. But and then I took a bunch of strings to the post office today, and anyway, it's crazy.
what's going on, Granddad 69?
What's up? Eric took his number.
Yeah, I seen that. Took his lucky number. If we get more than 20,
Yeah,
let us know and we'll up it.
I just figured. I know a lot of weeks I'll do 25, and we'll have several open spots. That's why I figured.
But I think everybody's over 20, so let's just go to 25.
Okay,
right
I
now.
do see some. Awesome. Glad you got the wrist sling. You are very welcome. Yeah, we'll just bump it up to 25 because I think a couple people's mentioned already.
Yeah.
The
We'll stand them in.
The gas strings are good. We've had a lot of people bring them in, and we put them on, and I mean, no issues. I'm trying to think. Recently, I don't think I've had any other manufacturer strings that we've had any issues with at all. And I think people are sometimes. I was talking to a guy a while ago. I forget who we were talking about. Oh, we were talking about Vapor Trail, And I think he was almost scared to bring it up because he knew we made them. I'm like, listen, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I'd rather you bring some strings in, and we don't have to make them. But anyway, we put on anybody's strings. But yeah, gas. I mean, we've never had any. Originally, they did not install their own speed knocks, and it was kind of weird because I had a guy. This was a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, but when they first were getting going, and we had to put them on. I thought that was awkward, but I think I know they put their own speed knocks on now. But yeah, I know they're backed up pretty good. I keep seeing people post that they're a couple months backed up or something,
Mm-hmm.
but we keep in touch with a lot of string makers just through different avenues. You know, we go to shows together and all that. But I know Eric just moved into a bigger building, and I don't know if they've officially got everything moved yet or not, but they're just having the regular growing pains.
Granddad said he's just gonna listen. He's driving home. I don't blame you on that.
Yeah. The D-loop, what we've found is people that take that, it's called a Viper D-loop pliers, whatever it's called, they'll take that thing and really crunch that thing down into the servant, and there's not a whole lot you can do. We like to use that Angel Majesty. It's the best thing we've found as far as staying good and not separating, but you can watch in those videos. I usually just take a little bitty set of needle nose. I mean, I'm getting it tight, don't get me wrong, but I'm not digging it into the servant, which those Viper things will do sometimes. But the nose button has been one of the, probably this year's most popular asked about item.
Mm-hmm.
Right when they came out, before any word got out they were out, I seen them in a distributor's thing they had sent me, and I ordered a couple, and like, I guess they're advertising right, because it wasn't but a week or two later, and like we'd sold 2 or 3, and I was like, we might need to order more, and we've been reordered them. I had more come in today, matter of fact, and
sold one today. Old Eric bought one.
yeah. But what I like about them is they've got little spiny ridges on it, so it's not like you can push terribly hard with your nose or it's going to hurt. So that keeps you from putting too much pressure on that string. I have, before these came out back in the day, instead of a kisser button, I just tied some serving and made my own nose button, and that was my first dealings with one. And it works. You find the same spot every time. But so far, we hadn't heard any negatives to these new ones. You know, you can get them in different colors. I've tried to order some green ones. They keep giving out of different colors, but we got black now, I think.
Yeah.
And but so far so good. I keep seeing stuff pop up on Facebook and YouTube about them, so it must be a big popular item.
With old Trent, I think he bought the last red one yesterday when
Yeah.
he was in here.
When they get all the colors back in, I need to reorder. Red and green are big popular colors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're neat. If you just got on, I know a lot of people are still commenting numbers, but we're giving away this wrist sling. It's got a little deer head in the middle of it, and it's got like a barbed wire looking neon green braid in it, so it's pretty neat. But anyway, pick a number between 1 and 25, but try to look and not pick a number somebody else has already picked. And if you do, we'll try to let you know. And here in a little while, we'll randomly choose a number. I got to get with Eric. It's been so busy, I just ain't had time to think. But I mentioned on the podcast about some help with our tournament stuff, and Eric messaged me, and that would be great. We got to figure out when and what and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's been nonstop, people piling in, and strings going out, and bows being tuned, and oh, there's some package there. Someone's sticking me on the leg. But we are getting there. It's been wild. I don't know if Blake Manship is watching, but he ordered a 80-pound prime. It came in, and we got the rest on it and all that good stuff. So I guess he is strong like bull, as they say. 80-pound bow is gonna be a good, with a heavy arrow. I think that'd be neat to play with. I shot a Black Eagle Rampage out of it, and it bullet holed in the whole 9 yards. So very cool stuff.
What's your favorite string material for hunting?
That X99 is what we really like right now. What was I gonna click on here? that X99 to me is the best all around because it, you know, in a material, you got a material called Vectran mixed into it, and that's what prevents stretch, but that's also what kind of makes it fray up sometimes. So like the original 452 had a lot of Vectran in it and it would fray up. Then they come up with 452X and they adjusted it a little bit. Now they got 454, but the X99 has got just enough. It's got like 20% Vectran instead of like 33% Vectran. So it's got enough to not cause any stretch. And then the other material, which is like the slickness of the string, is called Dyneema. So it's a 2080 blend. And I've got I got a couple bows. And I've got a bunch of different stuff on them just to test. But the X99 is probably what I've had on the most bows with the most. You know, I hate to say success because really there's no string material out there now that's going to give you a lot of trouble. But as far as stretch and all that, we've just had a lot of luck with it. The 454 I like, and I've got it on a bow or two, but I hadn't really shot them enough to say. I mean, I don't hate it by no means. It's an upgraded 452X if you're familiar with all that, but X99 is what I'd go with. Just gut fit, right now is the thing.
Yep. What do we think about speed knocks? Go or no go?
It's according to the bow, but most of the time I'd go like all your newer bows, let's say in the last 4 to 5 years, especially the Matthews and the Hoyts. I mean, they'll have like 16 or 18 speed knocks on each end, and you'll see a noticeable difference without them. But you get into the older bows that just had like 2 or 3 on each end, you're only looking at a couple feet per second. But I've seen some of the Hoyts, there can be 8 or 10 feet per second difference.
All right, wait a minute. I saw on Facebook the PSC has a new rep for the Southeast. Have we met him yet?
No, I friended him yesterday, and we actually have a bow that came in. We need parts for us. I'm going to call him probably tomorrow, but I don't think I've ever met him. He's out of Georgia, right below us. His name sounds super familiar. I don't know if we met him at an ASA or something like that, but I'm sure he'll be making his way around. I'm hoping PSC's kind of been tumultuous. We had a rep that had been with PSC for about 20 years, and they gave him the boot for whatever reason. Then we got another guy and another guy and another guy. So I think we're on number 4 within like a year. So I don't know what they're doing to their reps, but I'm hoping maybe this guy will stick.
Let's see. Larry said, I appreciated your Black Eagle video. I purchased the X Impacts. No trouble dry fitting and spin tuning, but when I glued the outsert, it doesn't spin well. Just used the screw instead of gluing. Any tips?
I would, does it have any slop to it? Could you tell if it had any play in it? A lot of times I'll take and use like a 5-minute epoxy or even an 8-hour epoxy and glue it in and then put it on a spin tester, and most of the time, I mean, there's just the tiniest bit of play in those things, and you can get that worked out of it and keep spinning it till you get out of it, and then let the glue set up. That would probably be what I would do.
He said, yeah, a little bit of slop, and yeah, we'll have to bump up the numbers. Moody Duck said we're probably going to go to 30.
Tonight or next time?
Oh, tonight.
Okay, I guess we'll go to 30. I'll start announcing it that way.
But it hit 113 here in Phoenix, I believe. Oh, Richard, he said perfect shooting weather.
It is freaking humid here. It's been about mid-90s, and I can deal with the heat, but it is. I walked outside a while ago. Somebody's out there messing with one of our walkways or whatever, putting some rock out or whatever. But anyway, I went out there 10-15 minutes and was soaked about. The humidity's killing me. I'm ready for the fall.
I'm just ready for a break in the humidity.
Yeah. But yeah, if those things have a little slop, that's probably how I would do it. Use some slower setting epoxy where you can get them on a spinner and play with them. That's what normally, if I'm really tuning on a set of broadheads, like a big set of fixed blades, that's how I'll do it. Even if it's just a regular insert, I'll epoxy them, spin them. If something's not spinning true, I'll mess with that insert a little bit, spin it, I'll get it right, and then kind of get it to where it's hanging off the table or where it's not going to mess up, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think a lot of people that have broadhead flight problems, that's their problem. You put them on a spinner and that tip has a little bit of wobble to it, and of course a big long shank of a broadhead off a little bit, it's going to fly like crap.
Yeah, I know. I went and moved. I brought out 2 stands on Monday afternoon and moved the stand, and I think I lost 10 pounds just, and I wasn't out there but a couple hours. John says, always heard and matched the broadhead up with the vanes. What about 3-blade with a 4th fletch, or does it even matter if they're aligned?
I've always done that just because that's how I had seen it, but somebody told me this one time and it made a lot of sense. And he said, your arrow's twisting as it flies. He said, so if those are lined up, by the time the turbulence from that blade gets to the vane, that arrow's been twisted and it's not lined up. And that made a lot of sense to me. I still line them up if it's a fixed blade usually, just because that's superstition that I've always done. But in reality, it probably don't matter.
Let's see. Do we think that the iron wheels are worth the money?
I mean, people's brought them in. I've never bought any to shoot. I know they're tough and the whole 9 yards, but I don't know. I don't have any personal experience. They're neat and they're nice people. I've talked to them at the shows, but I don't know.
Right. Andrew says, looking to get a new fletching jig. He says, I only have a burger. Any recommendations? Depending on if you're wanting to do like a lot of stuff with helicals, or if you're just wanting to mainly stay.
If I was wanting a quick one, those little Arizona Easy Fletchers are great. If you're wanting to be super precise, more so than the Bitburger, then the Last Chance Vane Master Pro is neat. I've got them all, and like I'll break out the Vane Master if I'm being super precise, like I want an exact 2-degree offset, or this helical or that helical, left, right. You can do all that stuff with the same one. Most hunting arrows that come in and need to be refletched real quick, I'll just grab that little mini Easy Fletcher thing, because it has the little 3 things at once. It's just according to what I'm doing. I take my time more on 3D folks or people that I know shoot at long distance, but if average Joe comes in and is in a hurry and needs 6 arrows fletched, I usually grab that Easy Fletcher. So, but yeah, that'd be. And then even on the Bitsenberger, they make that Zenith upgrade kit, and I got one I put on. I hadn't really messed with it a whole lot, but it makes that receiver a little more precise. It might be worth looking into. 60X Custom Strings actually bought out Zenith Archery, so you can go to their website and find them. I want to say they're about $30 or so.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of Magnus Black Hornet SDR razors?
Hadn't shot them. I shot a Magnus. It's been a while. It's been 15, 20 years ago to play with them, but I hadn't picked one up in so long.
And then the Bonin, have we tried the Bonin X3 vanes?
I don't think. Let me look up a picture of them. Which
Bonin X3?
Let's see. Oh, we got some. I hadn't put them on my arrows, but we do have some somewhere in there.
Probably got some on a test pack, in a test pack.
I feel like I put some on somebody's small diameter arrows, but I can't remember.
I can't either.
Available numbers, I'm sure y'all can see this too. Available numbers are 1, 12, 19, 20, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And we're drawing for this wrist sling. We'll probably give it another 15 minutes or so. We're drawing for wrist sling. And we're just going to random draw a number here shortly. Don't forget, if we could find any more heat vanes, we'd send them. So with a arrow with no fletching, people, I hadn't done enough testing to really talk a whole lot about it, but I have tested enough to tell you that most of the time an arrow has spun to the left with me out of a bow. Now, a lot of people that's done more research than me seem to think that it's according to which way your string is twisted. So we've had a few people order a reverse twisted string, which means if you're holding the string out in front of you, usually the right side is twisted clockwise. They've asked for it to be twisted counterclockwise when we make it, and it's supposed to make the arrow rotate to the right. I hadn't seen enough evidence that it's worth going into all that trouble, but if people want reverse twisted strings, that's fine. Or if you want to fletch left helical, that's fine too. A lot of the pros fletch left helical to get the arrow to twist away from their face. So I don't know. There's all that. People, they'll mark their arrows and shoot them at 5 or 10 yards and see which way they're twisting to the bow. But from what I've done and from most of what I've heard, on average, a spine or a shaft is spinning to the left.
Muddy Duck asked, do we use any special glue for veins?
Not really. I use that for the most part, unless it's like a flex fletch or something that has their own glue. With a blazer, I just use that Loctite control gel from the old Wally World.
And Brad said that Muddy Duck needs a salary increase.
Yeah, I know it. I look in the description. I gave her a link in there. Yeah, I don't know how much we've talked about this, but she makes these epoxy tumblers. I mean, like, you need to click on the link pretty much and look at them, but she can make these wood grain ones, or she can put sands on them, or all kinds of different stuff, a deer head or whatever you can come up with. And I hadn't talked to her about it much, but from what I understand, I'm guessing that epoxy is a pretty tough stuff versus like people that just stick a decal on there, and you put it in the dishwasher and it comes off type thing. But go look at her page, and she's got some, fancy stuff. And she,
yeah, the Gorilla Super Glue with the brush works too. I like to use the gel control. That way you don't get a lot of runs down on your.
I've been using that brush on them little loop knots that I tie just to dot it with. It's been working pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look that up, Leon. Nestle from Archer Talk did a good video on spin direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, left is what I've seen out of my stuff, and I hadn't put a reverse twisted string on my bow to test it, but just from people I trust, they said it did change their direction, but I hadn't been worried enough about it or think that I can shoot good enough to do it to make a difference.
Brad said, where is Muddy Duck's link?
If you click on, I don't know how it is. Is there a thing that says description or something on there?
Wait a minute. Let me get back over to live chat. Maybe I missed something. That's all I've got. Top chat, live chat on my end.
Hang on, I'll post the thing. It's under like the description, but I don't know how to get there on the.
She says in the discussion.
Copy. I think it just started raining.
I wouldn't doubt it.
There's a link. I put it in the chat there.
Yeah.
But she's got, here's like an American flag one with sharks on the blue ocean part. That's pretty neat. I can't figure out the wood grain. That is neat. That is like, it's raining. I thought the rain was over. Let me look up the radar.
Eric says, does it really matter where your anchor point is on your jawline using the thumb release, or just as long as it is repeated?
Long as it's repeated, but also think about if you're going to shoot longer distance, your anchor point actually kind of lowers itself. You know what I mean? Like if I'm shooting at 20 and then I go to 60, I'm actually kind of dropping my anchor point. So you don't, in my opinion, you don't want it super low to start with, and then if you're going to shoot at say 60 or 80, even if you're just playing in the yard, you're going to be like floating below your jaw. So I'm not saying get way up high, but I used to anchor lower than I do now because when we actually like the tack we went to, I noticed like I'm below my jaw, and it's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But repeatable is the name of the game. Here's a glow in the dark tumbler.
John Sheffield asks, have you found that a natural string, no dye or color, tends to stretch less?
Yes. So you with what they call natural is like an off-white color, and it has no wax, no dye in it, and it's definitely a thinner strand because it don't have all that crap in it. You can either run more strands to make it the same diameter and less stretchy, but even if you don't do that, the way I try to explain it to people is you got a bunch of strands together and you got a bunch of wax in it. Now a lot of times we'll try to get a lot of that wax out when we build it because we don't want to have wax all over the serving and all that, but certain colors are almost impossible to get wax out of. But anyway, you get wax around each individual strand, and then you get that strand in a little bit of heat and it melts. Well, then those strands get closer together and it elongates, and that's a big problem. So like on this, my tournament boat's sitting right over here, and I've got a white string on it. A lot of my tournament stuff, that's what I'll do is put white on it to try to avoid that. But there's also like your flow orange, your flow green. Those are like the two main we see all the time. They will be gooped.
Flow pink.
Flow pink
is word.
Pretty much any bright color, and flow yellow. It's all going to have a lot of wax and a lot of dye in it. So yeah, to me, it's a trade-off. Like, do you want a super nice looking colorful string, or do you want it to not budge? So like this tournament bow I got sitting over here, usually we shoot in the heat and all that type of thing, and I was like, I don't want it to move, so I made it white and I put a colored serving on it. But like,
that's what Richard was at. He was like, would that be like the gas ghost strings?
Yeah, that's the same idea that they're behind. And then but like, most of the time the black hadn't got that much, is not that much bigger. The tan, some of the darker colors are not bad. It's just seems like the bright colors are big time different.
And you can even get into some of your like colors you wouldn't like, gold or a regular yellow or something like that, and they're not as waxy. Or
even on like when we put a center serving on, I can put it, if we made it the same strand count and didn't do anything different, like on a white, we'd end up at probably about a point 0.110, 0.109 even, maybe a 0.108 if it, it's just cordon. But then if we made the exact same string out of, say, flow orange, I mean, it would bump all the way up to like a 0.115, 0.116. I mean, there's a pretty big difference. But I don't, like I say, most people don't think about all that, and they just want a fancy looking string. And I think for average Joe, you won't notice that big of a difference unless you get it super hot.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes into the whole, we'll have people bring bows in out of their truck that has left them in their truck at work all day, and literally the string will be
dripping.
It looks like it's soaking wet, and it is, because the wax has completely melted. I mean, you can barely touch the riser. That's crazy.
Let's see, Brad, what string material do you guys prefer for a hunting bow? Probably the X99 would probably be the way I would go.
Yeah, all around, that's my go-to.
And DLR says, what causes the peak to move or twist?
It could be a couple things. If it's a string that didn't get tension on it while they put the serving on it, or pre-stretched in any way, that's the number one cause. So an example of that is a lot of your bows, brand new bows that are like your $400 packages, they come from the factory. They don't get any kind of stretch put in them. And a lot of the companies have even started putting rubber peeps in them from the factory, because they will go, you can have somebody shoot one, and the PSE Stinger used to drive me insane, because we'd sell a lot of them, put a peep in it, get them out there, they'd shoot, it'd be semi-straight, they'd put 20 shots in it, it'd be sideways. We'd come back in here, press it, put a twist in, out, get it back straight, and go shoot 20 shots later sideways. And we'd end up having to put a tube on it or whatever. But also what can cause it is, when you tie in your peep, if those knots can move at all on top and bottom of the peep, like so, for instance, if you like I can't talk, as you're shooting over the course of a couple hundred shots, if those knots are moving apart because they're not either not enough serving or they're not tight or whatever, that'll actually make the peep twist. And I've seen that a lot where people will just put 2 or 3 ties around their peep, and as they're shooting, it's moving apart and it's making that peep twist. So it could be a bunch of stuff.
Let's see. Daniel said, do you measure the center serving diameter and hold it to a spec like .112, or do you make it a standard size for knot fit?
I'd say 20% of our strings, people ask, they'll say, hey, I'm shooting whatever, this knot or that knot. Can you make it fit? And we got a little chart we can kind of go by. If they don't say anything, we go around a 112, 113 size. But I try to err on the side of it being a little small versus a little big on the compound bow, because you wouldn't believe how many bows I've had come in with like a factory string, and the knot, it clicks on there hard, like pow, and the guy will be like, man, this thing's shooting crazy, it won't paper tune. We'll strip off the center serving, put a smaller on it to where you want it to click on, but you want it to kind of be able to move once it clicks on. And we'll do that, and boom, it'll bullet hole. So that tension's causing all kind of problems.
Richard said he rechecked the ATA and brace height on the Kuma tonight with the flow green string and cables, and he says they're still millimeter perfect after several thousand shots. Timing's still spot on. Andrew, I got a verdict. Should I time the cams to hit at the same time, or should the top one hit just a little before the bottom?
Same time. The only bows that I'll time that way is going to be a hybrid cam, so one that's got a yoke at the top and then a control cable. Some of the older mid like 2013, 14, 15 Hoyts, they like that top cam to hit just before the bottom. The newer Hoyts I found, they like it dead on the money. But any binary, I call it by a quad track, whatever you want to call it, system where the cams, you have 2 exact cables or whatever, I always make them hit at the same exact time. Ultimately what you're doing if you don't do that is you're making the knot travel kind of crazy. Like you're hitting the back wall, and then if you had your bow on a machine mounted to where it couldn't move, and you had a pin on the loop as it drew back, if one cam hit and then there was a gap between the other one, the knot travel would go up or down, if that makes any sense. So it could cause some crazy air flight. But yeah, I'd put them dead on the money together.
Oh, Eric says, well, I was going to say, Eric talked to Leon. He said, found a Frankenbow I want to do eventually, a triax with wake limbs and switch wake cams. They're going to say, talk to Mr. Leon right there. He's the man.
Leon is the man. Overspined arrows are a lot easier to tune with than an underspined arrow. A lot of times an underspined, you maybe can't even get it to paper tune. Most of the time an overspined arrow, you can get it to act right.
So I think I hit everybody. No, Eric, he said that he was, there it is. Eric said, does it really matter where you, and wait a minute, I done read that one off. He says he rides the back of my jawbone in between the first and second fingers.
That should be fine. I'm trying to think of what I've talked to people about this week to bring up.
Well, do we even bring, I mean, the biggest thing everybody's talking about right now in the archery world is the ranch fairy.
Man, people are coming in and talking about ranch fairy all the time. That guy, I guess I need to watch more of his stuff, because he must have a personality, because people are watching him like crazy. People that I wouldn't think would ever watch that are watching him. So people are coming in crazy wanting heavy setups like he's doing.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad for it to be something different than the usual,
Yeah.
not the speed stuff or whatever, but the ranch fairy's crazy, getting all kind of attention.
Yeah, Eric, he is a very unique individual.
Yeah. Maybe we need to come up with something.
Yeah.
We'll start putting water in arrows. I'll never forget one time when old Fred Taylor worked with me at Bucks and Bass. He was shooting his bow. He went to the bathroom or something, and I took his cup of coffee and filled his arrow up with coffee and stuck the knot back in. And my intention was for it to just shoot low and him to be like, what in the world's going on? But what happened was, luckily it wasn't that hot of coffee. He fired that thing off and that knot blew out and it soaked his whole face with that coffee. And he was like, what in the hell is going on? And I was like, man, did you leave that arrow outside? And he's like, this tastes like coffee. I was like, well, I didn't get my butt whooped. That's the main thing.
DLR, if I'm using a thumb release, should my trigger hand be near or touching my ear or further forward?
It's really according to the axle to axle. You know what I mean? Like, to me, a shorter axle to axle is probably going to bring you back a little more. But I'm, with a handheld, I'm about right there. It's kind of where I'm hitting at. I'm like front of the back part of my jaw, if that makes any sense. That's what I'm kind of feeling, but.
Let's see. Hey, Anthony, I think 13's already been taken. I think.
Well, if you just got on, we're choosing numbers between 1 and 30. If you can, try to scroll back through and not pick a number somebody else has picked, but we're giving away a wrist sling. And when we get done, if you'll email me at archeryshack@gmail.com and just tell me your address, I'll get it in the mail to you. We'll probably wait another few minutes and do it, maybe 5 more minutes. Let's see who we got on here.
Hopefully next week we'll be back into restringing bows on camera.
We were planning to tonight. We just got tied up with a bunch of people, and it derailed. It didn't derail. I was just like, we're gonna end up being extremely late if we get into that.
Old Perry said he's still playing with hunting air experiment. The only thing he settled on is fixed blades. Larry says another trend that he is seeing is using longer stabs and rear stabilizers for hunting.
We both went to a back bar for our hunting bows last year, and the only thing, most of the places I hunt, I don't have to walk in all that far, but if I were to have to walk far, I knew I could just unscrew that back bar and either put it in my backpack or not even take it. And I practice with and without it, but I feel, especially if let's say the Spot Hog Fast Steady, that's what I'm going to have on my bow this year to hunt with. It's not a super heavy sight, but it's got a little weight to it. So that back bar kind of helps you balance it out. And I don't know how many of y'all shoot any kind of tournaments or whatever, but like my tournament bow's got a back bar, so I'm just used to it. I feel like I can make a better shot with it. And it hadn't really hindered me from anything yet, so I like it. Open numbers, if you're picking numbers, are 1, 12, 19, 20, 26, 28, 29. Australia, what's going on, Ron?
Anthony, your strings are currently on a serving table as we speak. They should be done tomorrow or Saturday.
Which set is it?
That Flow Green Rise.
Okay, yeah.
With us being so backed up, I may just probably see if I can't meet up with you and grab it and bring it up here one day, or maybe we can see about maybe a Saturday, just kind of getting you in on a schedule.
John, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but I'll holler at you here in a little while.
John, we usually shoot 20 or 30 up. I mean, that's a decent day for it. No, I'm kidding. We go to have fun. If I can shoot even, I'm happy. If I can shoot a couple up, I'm real happy, but that's kind of where I'm at. We're no superstars by any means.
We'd probably shoot pretty well down since we ain't shot in so long.
The Corona stuff hit, and that kind of killed our main shooting time. And then by the time the few shoots came back around, we had so many bows to work on, we kind of got stuck here. But if you're local, Kiwi Bowman still has the Bow Hunter Jamboree coming up mid-August Go to kiwibowman.com, check it out. It'll be it's neat. It's all deer targets. It's mainly to just get you ready for deer season.
Yeah.
And they're doing I guess I don't know. I guess they'll have food some way or fashion with all this stuff. I think it's outside or something.
I think it is too. DLR asks, are skinny areas stronger because of wall thickness?
Technically, yeah. If you, I don't know if this is on YouTube or not, but I feel like it is. Tim Gillingham, if you don't know who he is, he's like a pro shooter. He works for Gold Tip. But at all these shows we go to, he has it's pretty much a bow press, but it slowly comes together, and he puts arrows between the two arms of it, and they'll flex, and he'll show at what point each arrow will break. And always, the bigger the arrow, the quicker it breaks. You could get on YouTube and Google like Tim Gillingham arrow break test or something like that. And it's actually a neat thing to see. They got the bow press. It's an electronic last chance press with a little modified thing to hold arrows in it. And it's in a little plexiglass thing so nobody can get hurt or whatever. But you'd be surprised. Some of them arrows will really bow up before they break, and I think a few don't even break. But last year before, somebody said, what about a big tournament arrow? And that thing snapped. Mm-hmm. So it's so thin-walled, it snapped real quick.
Yeah, John Archer said he's the dude who blew up a bow on camera. Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, he dry fired the bow.
We were there, but we wasn't standing there when it happened. I wish I would have been.
Yeah.
But what do y'all think? Y'all ready to draw for a wrist sling? I'm going to go ahead and bring up the stuff to draw a number. If you hadn't picked a number, we're drawing numbers between 1 and 30. And whatever number we pick is going to win a wrist sling. I think about everybody has got a number picked. Let me get on. We use this site called random.org. I seen somebody else use it a while back, and you just put in how many numbers you got.
I don't know, but I went to scroll back through, and I wondered if they cut some of the comments off, because I know 13 was taken because that's Leon and them tied on it, but it's not showing up on mine.
What's up, Mikey Johnson? You got to get your butt to the shop.
Mikey.
We got 40 bows in here waiting, son. I sent you pictures a minute ago. Real fancy.
You got a weather alert.
How's Zeke doing, Mikey? Y'all have probably seen Mikey. Y'all have seen Mikey if you've watched any of our videos. He helps us in the shop. He's a paramedic, so he don't have much time. But when he does have time, he helps us in the shop and he shoots with us. But his boy had his tonsils out earlier. I think I seen he was doing okay, but he was wild when he woke up or something.
DLR said I found my wife on random.org.
Oh Lord, so many things I could say.
Yeah.
If you're picking a number to win the wrist sling, open numbers are 1, 12, 19, 20, 28, 29. Joe picked one. I'm gonna give it like a minute, and I wanna pick one. Yeah, Mikey was on a podcast with us.
Yeah, he was. One of our earlier ones.
Yeah. All right, I'm going in for the pick.
Going for the win.
1 and 30. $25. I think somebody's got it. Number 25 has won the wrist sling. I don't remember who picked it, but I'm looking.
Muddy Duck says Richard. Which Richard is that, Muddy Ducks? Because I know we got a couple of Richards. It's weird that they cut the comments off.
I'm looking. I think it's still on mine.
You might be on the desktop. with you being on desktop. But I can't talk tonight. Time to go to the house. Richard Clark.
Oh, yes. Congratulations, Richard. I'm going to ship you this fancy wrist sling. Didn't you message me about a peep sight? I think you did. And I can stick it in the pack with this if you just tell me. I don't remember what size you wanted. But, yeah, we need to, what can we do for Mighty Ducks?
I don't know. I had to think of something to surprise her.
We'll send her a glitter bomb.
Nah, she might ride down here and whoop both of us.
She might. Good night, William. I guess we'll wrap this thing up and get off here, but congratulations to Richard. We will be back. Like I say, we were planning on restringing a couple bows on here, and we got backed up with people and didn't get on here till later than we thought. So we'll try to get back to that. Speaking of the glitter bomb, so I didn't know they existed. I don't remember who told me. This was about 5-6 years ago, but I decided to send my mama one, and it's like $20. I don't remember the website now, but it comes in like a tube, and it's got a spring, and then when they open the top of the tube, that spring blows the glitter out. Well, anyway, she called me and was like, I think they sent one of your packages here. She said, because I ain't ordered nothing that would have come in a tube, and it's about this big. And I was like, nah, it ain't mine. I said, is my name on it? And she was like, no. So finally, she snatched that thing open, and she's got kind of poofy hair in the front, like the hairspray stuff, you know what I'm talking about? It went all in her head, and it was great.
I'm surprised you're still sitting here.
It was great. But
oh man.
Anyway, we'll get off here. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back with cool stuff. We got a podcast coming out, pretty much every Tuesday for the next several weeks. Don't forget August the 22nd.
August 22nd.
We're going live. It's a Saturday. We're going live at 6 o'clock. We're giving away a recurve bow, a home tuning kit, and a bowstring set, and maybe some more stuff. But that'll be August 22nd, 6 p.m. And hope y'all have a good evening. We'll get off here and leave y'all alone. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.
See y'all.